Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, Modern Warfare players short on install space got some great news. Pubg is getting a new kind of map, Rainbow Six's Lord Tachanka is finally getting the love he deserves, and more. Call of Duty Modern Warfare players on PC will finally be able to uninstall modes they don't want to play with tomorrow's update. The game is currently well over 200 gigabytes when installed. That makes it really tough to keep the game updated on budget-friendly SSDs and an absolute nightmare to download for people without high-speed internet. It's unclear exactly how much space you'll be able to save once the update goes live. As for why it's taken so long to do this, the answer is likely something to do with the upcoming Black Ops Cold War launch. The game will integrate with Warzone, so it makes sense to have Warzone as sort of a standalone component of the whole package. That said, if you were hoping Cold War wouldn't be as massive, well, the beta alone is 42 gigabytes on PC. It goes live on the 15th for all platforms and preloading is available now. Based on the PlayStation 4 beta that just wrapped up yesterday, we might be in for a bumpy ride. Networking issues plagued many users. Other problems like default key bindings for vehicles and general balance of the game are also concerns. However, one bright spot of the beta is it's finally giving us an in-depth look at the stats for all weapons and attachments. Unlike past Call of Duty titles, Cold War gives detailed information regarding basically every parameter imaginable for every weapon. So no more ambiguous plus or minus 10% stuff. This is an excellent resource for players, and it makes it much easier for content creators to recommend specific loadouts. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is getting its first dynamic map with Season 9. It'll include an active volcano with changing weather conditions based on the brief teasers released so far. Speculation suggests the lava flows coming from the volcano will change from match to match, further reshaping the play area in addition to the randomized blue zones. Helicopters have also been teased repeatedly for Pubg with the Season 9 promotional materials, so we might be getting new vehicles with the update as well. Rainbow Six Siege's most forgotten operator, Tachanka, is getting a proper rework. His status as the game's most useless character developed early in the game's lifespan, and he's now considered a legendary meme of an operator. The rework aims to reintroduce Tachanka as a more mobile and deadly defender. His LMG can now be carried around and shot without being mounted to the floor. He also gets a new grenade launcher as his main gadget. It shoots fire grenades that can shut down access to doors and tight hallways. Hopefully these changes make Tachanka a much more interesting defender and one that's worthwhile to pick. The changes are currently live on the game's test server alongside a bunch of other more minor tweaks and fixes. Insurgency Sandstorm's latest update, Operation Breakaway, was a pretty significant expansion to the game. It added a new map, 2 new guns, a bunch of new grips, and much more. But it also introduced some new bugs. A hotfix has just been deployed that aims to squash some of those bugs. Most of the fixes are more or less cosmetic, but there are some major fixes for out-of-bounds exploits on the new map, AI pathing, and a bug that prevents players from meleeing with their primary weapon. And while it's not necessarily the same in size or scope as other AAA shooters, for Sandstorm it's yet another great addition and step forward. Halo 4's Master Chief Collection PC port beta is kicking off soon, and unfortunately, it was announced alongside some rather bad news. Halo 5 has been confirmed as not coming to the Master Chief Collection, and while it was never advertised as getting a proper Master Chief Collection release, 343 hadn't directly ruled it out until now. The irony, of course, is that Halo 5's Forge mode being on PC is probably one of the driving factors between Master Chief Collection being ported to PC in the first place. When Forge mode launched on PC, it renewed interest in PC ports for the classic Halo games. Much of the feedback gathered in response to Forge mode on PC shaped how the Master Chief Collection ports were handled as well. It seems likely that we'll get a PC port of Halo 5 at some point, but it won't be part of the Master Chief Collection. Microsoft uploaded a new tech demo showcasing the performance improvements to Fallout 4 running on the Xbox Series S. The game ran at 30 FPS on the Xbox One, but it runs at a solid 60 FPS on the Series S. That's a very big bump in performance, and it's likely just the tip of the iceberg. The Series S doesn't offer any sort of real boost mode. It just runs Xbox One games better because of its improved hardware. We'll likely see an even more significant leap in performance and resolution on the Series X, which offers a backward compatibility boost mode. 4K 60 FPS on the Series X seems pretty attainable for Fallout 4 if this tech demo is anything to go by. A modder has unlocked the frame rate on the PlayStation 4 exclusive Bloodborne. Lance McDonald released a video showcasing his mod, which addresses the game's locked 30 FPS performance on the PlayStation 4 and also fixes bugs associated with unlocking the frame rate. Bloodborne operates on a fixed clock, meaning if you uncap the FPS, you speed up everything else too. McDonald's mod fixes the issue and relies purely on the Pro's improved hardware. The PlayStation 4 Pro could offer a performance bump, but for whatever reason, Bloodborne's developers never opted to include support for the Pro's boost mode, which means it's just locked at 30 FPS for seemingly no reason. McDonald will release the mod if Sony doesn't offer a similar performance improvement with the PlayStation 5 version of Bloodborne. Console modding generally requires utilizing software and hardware exploits to run third-party code. To run McDonald's Bloodborne mod, you'd need essentially a jailbroken PlayStation 4, which isn't a trivial matter. So hopefully the PlayStation 5 version offers a nice performance bump for Bloodborne. Rockstar Games has scooped up the developers of Crackdown 2 Ruffian Games. They've been rebranded as Rockstar Dundee. The acquisition makes sense considering Ruffian primarily makes open world games that fit the Rockstar formula. They haven't announced what their plans are for the studio though, so it's unclear if they'll be picking up development of a new game or just getting support to finish an existing title. Valorant's new map, Icebox, has arrived. It's currently available in unranked playlists, and you should see it more often than the game's other maps for a while. As for how it plays, that's still up in the air. It incorporates zip lines more than other maps in the game, but it'll take a while for a real consensus to form about Icebox. Our final story today is about Star Citizen, a game that is routinely criticized for failing to deliver a finished game in the 8 years that it's been accepting funding. And while its future and lack of competition will likely be a point of debate for years to come, there's a new glimmer of hope for the game's single-player component, Squadron 42. According to the studio head Chris Roberts, Squadron 42 is in the closeout phase of development. He says this means the team are putting the finishing touches on the gameplay. The developers are also launching a new video series that will cover Squadron 42's development. The next update is coming in December. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Let me know if there's any stories you think we missed or should have covered, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.